If you're still learning languages from textbooks these days, you are doing it wrong. Hi, you found me. My name is Iga, and on this channel, I share things that I've learned and things that other people taught me without gates or borders. I've also been working in the language industry for the past 10 years. Today, I'm going to show you how you can learn languages at your home, completely free. No expensive courses and no textbooks costing a fortune. All you need is your internet connection, a little motivation, and a few proven tricks that I will show you in a second. These are the points we'll be going through in today's video, and you can find all the timestamps in the description. So why are textbooks a thing of the past? It's just not the best idea anymore. Textbooks really rarely teach you practical language. They can teach you how to order tea in a fancy cafe, but if somebody on the street asks you if you got polite, I doubt they cover that in the chapter on polite expressions. When we think about learning languages, we think about textbooks because that's the way we were taught at school. But unless you're cramming for a certificate, there are better ways to do it. I would also like to point out that nothing can substitute a good teacher. If you have the means to work with a qualified teacher, it would be easier and more effective for you. But if your budget doesn't allow you to do that, there are other ways. When I was starting learning languages, there was a lot of talk about how routines are bad and we should avoid them. But routine is actually the key to achieving success here. Even small steps every day lead to better results than 2 one-hour classes a week. Remember how we were learning languages at school? I had German class twice a week for 8 years, and I've only started speaking German when I've memorized all the songs of Tokyo Hotel. Sad, but at least now I know what works. And what if one day you forget to do something? No big deal, but it's worth remembering not to miss too many days in a row. Small habits build big results, and Rome wasn't built in a day either. Actually, quite the opposite. Have you heard about the Tower of Babel? And why does everybody love Duolingo so much? Well, this is a great example of an app that makes you do things every day. You have your points, you have your daily challenges, and if you forget to do something one day, you feel like you've forgotten to feed your Tamagotchi. But be careful, because Duolingo is not some magical solution. It can teach you popular phrases and the fundamentals of vocabulary, but it cannot explain grammar and linguistic nuances, and let alone culture. On Duolingo, you can accidentally learn to speak like a robot, and that can lead to many awkward situations, like when you're talking to your boss about a thing in the past when you mean you will only do it in the future, or when you talk to your father-in-law as if he was a woman. I don't recommend to spend more than a month or 2 on Duolingo, because in that time you will be able to grasp the fundamentals of the language, and after that you can try some other apps. I like Anki and Memrise for this because they work as flashcards. So it's like a vocabulary boomerang. The word will come back to you before you manage to forget it. And I, for one, have a very short attention span, so learning in quick, short bursts is way better for me than 2 hours over a book. And flashcards are great for this purpose. So how do you exactly learn a language without leaving your home? By watching TV. And I am not talking about your old excuse that, oh, just one more episode because I'm learning a language. No, I am dead serious here. TV and movies with dubbing or subtitles are a great way to see and hear how language really works in action. I used to learn Chinese by watching dramas on YouTube back when one episode was still divided into 5 parts, but with subtitles. And it took ages, but now I'm able to ask about the meaning of life in Chinese. And I cannot quite fly yet like they do in the wuxia movies, but at least I know what Confucius was talking about. So Netflix offers you many options to choose from, dubbing and subtitles in many languages. So if you are not into Korean dramas, for example, because you think they are too cheesy or whatever, said no one ever, then you can choose an American TV show that you like with Korean dubbing. Meanwhile, YouTube is a goldmine for language courses. I am learning Portuguese with Virginia Langhammer from the channel Speaking Brazilian Language School, and I like her method because she explains everything in Portuguese with subtitles in Portuguese and English, and she only speaks English to us on lives when it's not so easy to add reliable subtitles. There are tons of channels like that out there, but it is important to find a teacher that can actually explain everything and not just reciting the rules. Being a native speaker of a given language does not make you a teacher. You really have to have linguistic training to be able to explain some stuff. Can you, for example, explain why the plural for mouse, the animal, is mice, but the plural for mouse, like the computer mouse, is mouses? Exactly. Podcasts are your new best friend. Grab your phone, plug in your earphones, and voila, you can listen to native speakers from around the world. The best part is that podcasts are available on many levels, from the super beginner to the ultimate master, so you will find something for yourself. Get used to using your free time wisely, like when you're cleaning, when you're cooking, when you're going out for a walk. Your phone gives you access from anywhere to literally any corner of the earth. All you need to do is to search proper keywords in the target language. If you don't have any specific interests, I would recommend podcasts that cover a variety of subjects in vocabulary. That could be fiction, podcasts with advice, or true crime. Because these were just regular people living regular lives just like ours. Until they weren't. Dum, dum, dum. Here are a few podcasts that shaped my vocabulary in English. Of course, there are also podcasts specifically for learning languages from scratch, and one of them is called Language Pod 101. If you already know English, which I assume you do because you're watching this video, I would recommend that you try it out, because they don't only teach you language, but also grammar and culture, which is equally important. So my task as translator and localization expert is to understand exactly what is happening in language and culture right now in a given country. So on this website, you will find a ton of free resources, but some of them will only be available for a limited time. And I would say it's really worth checking. Of course, there are also podcasts so specialized that even natives have a problem with keeping up. My native language is Polish, and if I had to listen to a podcast about metallurgy right now, I would probably fall apart into pieces after 5 minutes. Now let's talk about time management, because it's really important in this entire endeavor. If you are a student or you're working full-time, then you probably don't want to spend entire days on learning language. I would like to, but I'm a linguist and I really like it, and you don't have to like it. I understand that. Maybe your company is sending you to Vietnam and suddenly you have to learn something in Vietnamese. That is fine too. So we want to use the time that would otherwise be wasted and incorporate the new language into your life so that it becomes a part of it. First tip is to change your phone language. This used to be less impactful because it would only change like the interface and maybe some options, but nowadays our smartphones are really smart. And when you change the language of your phone, the languages of the apps also change. Not all of them and not all at once, but it's a step. We're making progress here. Secondly, you want to use VPN. VPN or virtual private network is like a portal to another country. When I was living in China, using VPN was a necessity. But because of that, I learned to use it to my advantage. For example, if your browser detects that you're in Czechia, it will show you ads in Czech and search results in Czech, all in Czech. The same goes for YouTube and other platforms that serve you ads, which is basically all of them because we live in the age of consumerism. If we have to watch ads, why not make them work for us, right? Plus, those marketing materials usually have some wordplay or some jokes incorporated, which is really important because it's very hard for non-natives to understand other countries' humor. It's a real test of your language ability right there. There are free VPNs and paid VPNs, and usually the paid ones give you a bigger range of countries that you can connect to. I advise you to start with the free one and see if you like it. Get used to Googling your questions in a foreign language if the country of the result doesn't matter that much to you. For example, instead of Googling, how long should I boil an egg? You could Google quanto tempo leva para cozinhar ovo and see what comes up. This way you can check the grammar of your question and whether or not you're using vocabulary that could be understood wrongly. And of course, you're also learning passively some new words from contexts. Start following social media accounts from other countries. I like to start with info channels because they are relatively easy to find, like CNN plus the name of the country. And after that, the algorithm should start to recommend to you other accounts from the same country, like maybe some gossip sites, which are good because they use more colloquial language, and maybe some meme accounts, which is really on the highest level of proficiency because you really need to be an expert on language and culture to understand those. And that's our goal. Like, if you're going to scroll, you better do it with purpose, right? So that's it for today. Let me know in the comments which languages you are learning right now and which methods work for you. Like and subscribe if you liked the video, if you would like to see more of me and learn more about learning languages and living abroad. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.